Hello and welcome to Technically Analytics. Welcome back to baseball. Yes, that's right, folks. We're back to baseball after quite a few videos off. Baseball season, off season has finally heated up. So we have a few things to get to today. A few things happened over the course of a few weeks here. Finally, the winter meetings were just a couple days ago. So let's get into it. First of all, Juan Soto has been traded to the New York Yankees from the San Diego Padres. There was a whole load of players that came from the Yankees to the Padres for Soto and Trent Grisham. Now, you might know Juan Soto. He's been on my blog before. He's a young left-handed 6'2" hitter, outfielder. He has 7 years of experience, or 6 years, and he's a free agent in 2025. Right now, he's still in arbitration, which we'll talk about a little bit more later. And he was just traded to the Yankees. So, if you don't know about Soto, he's basically the young version of Barry Bonds, but he's going to be way better than him. Now, he's had kind of a few down years to his standards, because if you look at 2018, or not 2018, but yeah, even 2018, from 2019 till about 2022, he was one of the best hitters in the game by far. Like, there's no question. He was in the MVP conversation. He's been an all-star. He was rookie of the year. Like, he's so good. And so the thing about Soto is that he had a bit of a down year, right? Like when we went to the Padres from the Nationals, not last season, but the season in 2022, he really didn't perform all that well. As you can see, his splits in San Diego compared to Washington, he dropped from a 408 on base to a 388. He dropped from a 246 to a 236 batting average, a 485 slugging to a 390 slugging. 894 OPS to a 778 OPS, a 158 OPS plus to a 127 OPS plus. So this guy really dropped off his performance, and he gained a little bit back on the next season, or on this past season. Like he went up to 275 batting average, 410 on base, 519 slugging, 930 OPS, and then 158 OPS plus. So he did much better. He was in the MVP conversation. Like, he still had a great season. He was healthy. He played 162 games. And the big thing about Soto is like Barry Bonds, he gets walks. He gets walks like no one's business. Now, he's led the league in intentional walks before in his prime seasons, 2020 and 2021. But this past season, he had 11 intentional walks. He had 132 walks, which was the most of anybody this season. Bold indicates the most. They're league leading. And he has 640 walks, which is pretty close to the pace of Barry Bonds. Barry has, I think, a few more than him at this stage in his career, but that is Juan Soto. Now, why does it matter for the Yankees? And we're going to talk about that in a second. But first, I want to talk about his contract and all that stuff, because he is, like I said, he's a free agent in 2025. He was ARB eligible, so he's in his third year of eligibility, and he made $23 million, which I think was like a record for a third-year eligible free agent, or a third-year eligible player. So, because he's going to be a free agent in 2025, the Yankees effectively traded for a rental, unless they re-sign him, which so far they haven't announced anything. But I have to think that, and I was talking to friends about this, I would have to think that Soto needs to have a contract extension in order for this trade to make any sense, because the Yankees gave up quite a few good pitchers in this. It was mostly pitch. They gave up a catcher, and they gave up 3 pitchers. At least 2 of them were good. Like they were Michael King and I forgot the other guy's name. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. But either way, you don't give up good pitching and knock in for a year for this guy and then don't extend him. You know what I mean? Like you just don't do that. Baseball teams don't do that. So He must have agreed to be extended, or they must be thinking he's gonna extend. Because otherwise, why would they do this trade? Why would they trade Michael King? He was gonna be I mean, the Padres are gonna turn him into a starter. Like that's how good that guy is. So, but anyway, I think the Yankees are hoping for an immediate effect, which the immediate effect will be that they win the World Series here, and that's what they're kind of hoping for, I think. And that would take the pain a little bit away, but not fully, right? Like you gotta extend this guy. So with Soto in the lineup, they have DJ LeMahieu, Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, Anthony Rizzo, Gleyber Torres, Alex Verdugo, we're going to talk about in a second, Giancarlo Stanton at DH, Anthony Volpe at shortstop, and Austin Wells at catcher. And they have the rookies on the bench, Trent Grisham on the bench, and Jose Trevorino on the bench. So the Yankees lineup is looking pretty good. They really got that nice core of Judge, Soto, Rizzo, Torres, and Verdugo, who they traded with the Red Sox for the first time, and who knows how, I don't know how long that was. That was a confusing trade as well, the Verdugo trade. The Yankees gave up basically nothing for him. One good pitcher. The other guys were some college guys that haven't pitched in the MLB before, and one guy had pitched, but he wasn't really that great. So I'm confused by that one. The Verdugo one doesn't make a lot of sense, but the Yankees stocked up on outfielders, which they were short on. Stanton is the DH because he can't really play the outfield. He didn't really play that much in the outfield. He played mostly DH, I believe. So, but with this lineup, Soto gives them some pop in the middle of the lineup. I mean, when you look at that slugging in the middle, you see 613, 519, 378, 453, 421, 420, 46 at the bottom, Austin Wells. So it's like they have some power in that lineup. They're going for that take advantage of that short porch, right? Like that's crazy. So overall, I like the trade if the Yankees extend Soto, but I think like if they don't extend him, it's just they just kind of traded away 4 good pitchers or 3 good pitchers for or pretty good pitchers for a guy that is just gonna walk and sign somewhere else, or maybe he comes back. I mean, I don't blame them for trying to go for like a top level talent, but woo baby. So moving on, we're going to talk about another confusing trade which happened. It was the Mariners traded Jared Kelenic. Now, this isn't technically all about Jared Kelenic because he's not the only move that they made that confuses me. And again, confusing to me because I don't know what the Mariners are doing. They traded Eugenio Suarez, and then they traded Kelenic, Marco Gonzalez, and a few other guys. And they acquired some guys from the Braves. They traded him to the Braves. And they traded Evan White to the Braves too. Which it's fine. Like he's not the one I'm confused with. It's Kelenic and Gonzalez. And the Braves already flipped Gonzalez to the Pirates for basically nothing. Because the Braves don't care at all. Like they're just doing fringe moves, right? Like they have all that talent locked up till 2030, 2035. You know, they're good. But Kelenic, I mean, he was actually starting to do better in Seattle. He actually played 105 games. He started hitting. His strikeouts were still kind of high, but you know, I mean, he's kind of a power guy, right? So 11 home runs, 132 strikeouts, 253 batting average, 327 on base percentage, 419 slugging, 746 OPS, 109 OPS plus, which is above average. 100 is average. So for Kelenic, I mean, it's kind of confusing because he was starting to get the hang of it, and they just randomly traded him to the Braves. I mean, it's confusing because like the rest of their moves is they've just been getting rid of people, and they haven't really been signing anybody that crazy. You know, like I'm not really sure what they're doing. When you look at their lineup, I mean, they have some guys that I guess they're gonna sub in. You guys have never heard of Marlowe and Cazone, and they have Josh Rojas, who they traded for last year. And their bench is kind of just, you know, it's just guys that are kind of like meh. Like they didn't play that many games or have that many plate appearances, so you really have to wonder what the Mariners are doing. Like, what are they doing? I have no idea. And then the pitching department, I mean, they still have good pitchers. They have Robbie Ray on the IR. He had an injury and he had surgery. He's going to be back sometime next year, but they still have Luis Castillo. They still have Logan Gilbert. They still have Kirby. still Miller, and they have Brian Wu. I guess they figured Wu's gonna come in and step up. Well, I mean, he 18 games. He did okay. Like he had a 4.21 ERA. It's not amazing, but I guess. But overall, the Mariners did have good overall numbers, especially in the bullpen. Their bullpen was pretty good, even without the trader or the closer that they traded. I forget Seawald. Yeah, they traded him. That was in the Rojas trade, and they were still good. Like but they weren't a playoff team. That's the other thing. Like, so I don't know what the Mariners are doing. Kind of confusing. No one else is either. I mean, hopefully they're gonna make more moves potentially, but I mean, it remains to be seen, right? So, and lastly, I want to get to the Mets because that's my favorite team, and I haven't really talked about them too much. But the Mets have made some edge moves. They signed, Michael Tompkin. They signed Jose Iglesias. They signed recently Jorge Lopez, who played for the Orioles and the Twins. He's a pretty good reliever. Had some good seasons. But the move I'm really more excited about is Luis Severino from the Yankees. Now, Severino is a high risk, it's a high reward, low risk signing. 1 year, 13 mil. Oh, and Lopez was 1 year, 2 mil. So nothing. So he's not, and Severino has had some injury issues. Like he's been injured a lot. So it's been hard for him to stay on the field. But he's been, when he's on the field, he's usually pretty damn good. Like since 2008, 2017, he's been pretty lights out. Like there's a year or two where he goes off, like he's a little off. 2016 wasn't great. Did he get hurt? No, he didn't start that many games, and then last year he was hurt and he just didn't pitch as good, and his numbers really show like he was just bad last year. But this guy is capable of like Cy Young competition pitching. Like he can really throw the ball great if he wants to. Like he's capable. Like he's done it before. One of his best seasons was 2017. 298 ERA. He did. Let's see, where is it? Strikeouts. He had 230 strikeouts, 308 FIP, 1.040 WHIP, 7 hits per 9, 1 home run per 9, 2.4 walks, 10 strikeouts. So that's per 9. So that's like really, really good. So I'm excited what he could bring to the table if he's healthy, right? Like that's the thing. If he's healthy, then it's a easy $13 million that you don't mind spending again. If he's not, then I don't know. But it is good because even though, he's not the youngest guy, how old is he? He is he's 29, so he's not that bad. He's not 30 yet, but I think in the Mets rotation he fills a hole that we need to fill. Like we have Senga, he's gonna be great. Quintana, he was okay, like he was serviceable. McGill, we'll see what he does, see if he can bounce back. And Lucchesi, who was good. And we'll probably sign one more guy, or maybe we'll sign that Japanese pitcher Yamamoto. We'll see how it goes. I'm hoping we get him. And then in the bullpen, we got Tompkin and Lopez, which I think they're great additions. We also signed Phil Bickford, who was with the Dodgers. He was pretty good. He used to be good. So thus far, I like the moves that the Mets have been making. I think they're solid. Like I know they're not really moving to be super competitive this year, but they're trying to make some moves to get it going in the right direction because they spent a lot of money last offseason. They got last place, so they really wanted to move a little bit better. Now, switching to the lineup, the batting lineup, the starting lineup hasn't really changed much. They didn't sign Pete Alonso back yet or to an extension yet, but I think they will eventually. Not much has changed. They've kind of made moves on the margins. They signed Joey Wendell, which I like, utility guy. Very easy to move around. He can play any position, pretty much anything in the infield. And then Zach Short, Also, a decent pickup. Again, just utility guys to move around because injuries are gonna strike. They extended DJ Stewart, I believe. They gave him a new contract. So I look at the Mets have been doing so far. I need them to get a power hitter though. I think that's what we're missing in this lineup. I mean, to be fair to Alvarez, he was the power hitter that we really needed. He had 417 slugging. DJ Stewart was also a great power hitter too, but you want someone similar to maybe maybe not Soto. There's no one like Soto, but someone like Soto that can really hammer the ball. Like you really want to be in that right behind Pete Alonso because that's what's been missing from this team. I feel like because we have McNeil, we have Nimmo. Those guys are on base guys. Those guys get all the hits, get on base. Lindor 30-30 season. He was right behind Acuna in terms of steals and home runs. Like he was on all those lists of the video I made. Check it out on the channel about Acuna in his 40-70 season. And Lindor was great last year, and it's kind of underrated because Acuna kind of stole the show, and there's a lot of other good players. And then we'll see what happens with Beatty. I'm not sure, and Vientos, and we'll see what happens. I mean, I think they just need that power hitter. Really, that's pretty much all we got. So stay tuned for more. Hopefully, we still have to wait for Ohtani to drop. I mean, apparently next week he's gonna sign somewhere. Dodgers, I'm hearing, or possibly the Cubs or the Blue Jays. Those are the teams. I mean, who knows for real? But yeah, stay tuned. So thanks for watching. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and let's go Mets.